The light swallowed them whole. Elara's scream vanished into the blinding white void as gravity twisted, stretched, then snapped entirely. She wasn't falling anymore. She was suspended. Weightless. Breathless. Like the air had thinned into something not meant for humans. Hale drifted beside her, his arms reaching, slowly, as if the very moment was thickening around them. The debris from the collapsed corridor floated in wide spirals, slabs of stone, broken metal beams, ancient alien mechanisms pulsing with dead light. Everything moved in slow motion, like a dream that refused to follow the rules of physics. But the light below wasn't still. It breathed. A massive ripple surged through the glowing emptiness beneath them. Elara felt the vibration travel through her bones, pulse into her veins, and split into 1,000 tiny shivers. Then the shape formed again, clearer this time. Not a silhouette. Not a shadow. A body. Humanoid but impossibly tall. Skin like braided liquid light. Arms elongated, tapering into fingers that flickered like molten glass. Its head tilted, as if curious, hollow eyes swirling with newborn galaxies. It was watching them. "Elara," Hale gasped, but the word dissolved as space warped around his mouth. His voice bent and stretched like sound underwater. The creature raised its hand. The light around its fingers twisted into spiraling tendrils that reached upward, slow, deliberate, almost gentle. Her stomach twisted. Her veins burned. Her skin felt like it was melting into the air. The golden light inside her, her curse, her gift, her warning, flared violently. "No," she whispered, though she had no idea if the sound escaped her lips. The tendril curled toward her face. Hale struggled, trying to swim through the weightless void toward her, but he moved like he was trapped in honey. His body strained, his muscles flexed, but the void refused to let him get closer. "Elara, don't let it touch you." But the tendril already had. It brushed her cheek with a softness that terrified her more than claws or teeth. A warmth spread through her skin, crawling beneath the surface like a second heartbeat forming inside her skull. Images flashed, quick, violent, impossible to understand. A star exploding. A planet split open like fruit. A city built inside a creature's ribcage. A throne made of living bone. And herself, standing at the center of an unending corridor of light. Elara tore her head away with a broken gasp as the tendril retracted. The creature's hollow eyes widened, as if recognizing her for the first time. It spoke without a mouth. A deep, resonant vibration rolled through the void. "You are the returned." Elara instinctively recoiled. Hale shouted, "Let her go." The creature shifted, its towering form rippling like molten glass. Its head turned toward Hale. Another tendril slithered out, thickening with each pulse of energy. Hale held up his arms, but the void locked his movement again. Elara reacted without thinking. A burst of golden energy erupted from her palm, slamming into the tendril with a crack that split the void like lightning. The creature lurched back. The tendril recoiled. The entire white abyss flickered. For the first time, it looked afraid. Elara didn't understand what she'd done. She only knew one thing. They had to get out. "Hale!" she shouted. "I can move again. Grab my hand." Their fingers brushed, then locked. The void began to distort violently. The creature roared, a tremor shaking the endless white. Light fractured like shattered glass, revealing cracks of darkness beneath. "Elara!" Hale shouted. "What's happening?" She didn't know. She didn't care. Her golden veins brightened until her entire body glowed like a miniature sun. Then the void split open beneath them. And both of them were dragged down. Not by gravity, not by the creature, but by something darker waiting below the cracks. Something the unborn god hadn't intended them to see. They plunged toward it with accelerating speed. Elara screamed a final warning. "Hale, brace yourself." The darkness swallowed them whole. The darkness didn't swallow them. It launched at them. Elara felt the air tear past her face as she and Hale dropped out of the white void and into a cavern so vast her mind struggled to comprehend it. The darkness wasn't empty. It shifted like ocean waves, shimmering with faint streaks of blue bioluminescent light. Below them, a sprawling alien landscape stretched in all directions. Ridges, bridges, towers, and shapes that resembled both machinery and bone. Wind roared around them. "Elara!" Hale shouted, but the fall ripped the rest of his words away. Elara tightened her grip on his hand. Her golden veins flared instinctively, slowing their descent, but not enough. The ground was coming fast. "Hale! Hold on!" She pulled him tight against her chest and twisted her body downward. The air thickened around her like invisible gel, then slammed them into a slanted surface of smooth, black stone. They tumbled like rag dolls, rolling, sliding, crashing. Hale's elbow smashed into a jagged ridge. Elara's shoulder cracked against a glowing blue vein embedded in the ground. Sparks of golden and blue energy erupted around them as they skidded across the massive slope. Finally, they slammed to a stop in a shallow depression. Elara gasped for air, clutching her ribs. Hale groaned beside her, coughing dust. "You okay?" he panted. "Define okay," Elara wheezed. But she was already pushing herself up. Because the ground wasn't quiet. It throbbed. A low, rhythmic pulse moved through the stone like a heartbeat. The glowing blue veins brightened with each throb, illuminating the massive cavern around them. They had landed on something enormous, like the top of a gigantic fossilized creature or living machine, spanning miles across a subterranean kingdom. Above them, the white void snapped shut like a door. And far behind that sealed layer, the unborn god screamed. Not in rage. In fear. Hale wiped sweat from his brow. "Where the hell are we?" Elara didn't know. But she knew this. Whatever frightened the unborn god lived down here. She stood, scanning the landscape. There were carved walkways, spiraling arches, glowing pools of liquid light, and colossal pillars that extended beyond sight. Strange floating platforms drifted on invisible currents. Everything looked ancient, not dead, but dormant. As if waiting. A faint clicking sound echoed from the distance. Hale stiffened. "Something's down here." "No," Elara whispered. "Many somethings." The clicking multiplied, dozens, then hundreds, echoing off the cavern walls. Elara grabbed Hale's arm. "Move." They sprinted toward a series of ascending stone steps carved into the ridge. As they climbed, the blue veins flared brighter, reacting to their presence. The clicking grew louder. Closer. Elara glanced over her shoulder. And froze. Shadow-like creatures poured out from cracks in the cavern walls. Insectoid bodies. Elongated legs. Eyeless heads glowing faintly with blue ember-like dots. Dozens of them. Then hundreds. Scuttling. Twitching. Leaping. Hale's voice trembled. Those weren't in the briefings. The swarm surged toward them with frightening speed. Elara didn't think. She thrust her hands forward. A burst of golden energy exploded from her palms, ripping a shockwave across the cavern floor. The nearest creatures disintegrated into hot ash. Others stumbled back, shrieking in distorted metallic tones. The cavern trembled as her energy interacted with the blue veins. A massive distant structure awakened, a tower of black stone unfolding like a blooming flower, releasing spiraling tendrils of light. Hale looked at her, eyes wide. "You just activated something." Elara backed up another step. "I didn't mean to." The ground shook again. A deep rumble echoed from the far end of the cavern. From the giant flower-like structure. Something lifted itself free. A brontosaurus-sized creature made of obsidian plates, its core glowing blue, its multiple limbs unfolding with mechanical precision. Its massive head swung toward them, 3 glowing rings rotating inside its skull. The insects stopped clicking. They bowed. Hale whispered, "Oh no! Oh, Elara, run, run!" They sprinted across a narrow bridge of stone, the swarm pouring after them, the colossal creature smashing aside towers and ancient pillars as it pursued. Elara's lungs burned. "There, look!" Ahead stood an enormous archway carved with symbols she didn't recognize, but something about it pulsed in harmony with her golden veins. A portal. Or a gate. Or a door to something worse. Hale grabbed her hand. "If this kills us, it kills us together." Elara tightened her grip. "Brace." The ground behind them exploded as the massive beast lunged. The swarm screeched. Energy crackled. Elara and Hale dove through the archway just as the cavern collapsed behind them, swallowed by an explosion of blue and gold light. The world twisted. Everything inverted. And they were flung into darkness once more. Elara hit the ground so hard the breath punched out of her lungs. She rolled, skidding across rough stone until her back slammed against something solid. Hale crashed down beside her, groaning, coughing, clutching his ribs. For a moment, everything was black. Not empty darkness. Dense darkness, like fog made of shadow. Then the world flickered. A single blue spark drifted past Elara's face like a firefly, floating upward. And suddenly the darkness peeled away. Her eyes widened. They were standing on a narrow, jagged cliff overlooking something impossible. A sky beneath them. A vast, swirling expanse of glowing clouds stretched downward like an inverted atmosphere. Pulses of lightning crackled inside the clouds, illuminating massive floating islands suspended upside down, their waterfalls pouring upward into nowhere. Hale staggered to his feet, staring in disbelief. We're upside down? Or the world is? Elara shook her head. No idea. But we're not alone. A deep rumble rolled across the inverted sky. Something big moved through the clouds. A colossal serpentine shadow gliding like a whale through water. Elara grabbed Hale's sleeve. We need to keep moving before that thing notices us. Behind them, the archway they had fallen through flickered violently. The blue veins along its frame burned hot, then, boom! The archway exploded, sending fragments of glowing rock raining down onto the cliff. Hale flinched. We're cut off. We've been cut off since the start, Elara muttered. Let's just hope we're not trapped. A new sound trembled through the air. A metallic hum. Steady, rhythmic. Almost mechanical. Elara and Hale crouched instinctively. From the edge of the cliff, glowing drones, spherical, with thin, needle-like limbs, rose into view. Their blue lenses scanned the air, rotating with sharp, almost predatory clicks. Hale whispered, "Security drones." Elara shook her head. "Not human. Watch." One drone flicked its lens toward her. Instantly, its limbs extended and glowed blue. It sensed her golden energy. "Move!" Elara shouted. They sprinted along the cliff's winding path as the drones fired streaks of blue plasma. The beams sliced into stone, melting it like butter. Shards exploded around them. Hale leaped over a broken ledge. "Elara, this way." They reached a small plateau that jutted outward over the inverted sky. Stone pillars surrounded it like broken teeth. Elara scanned the area. No exits, no tunnels, no pathways. "We're cornered," Hale said, breathless. Elara turned to face the drones. "Then we fight." Her veins flared gold, heat gathering in her palms. But before she could release it, the cliff shook violently. A massive shadow rose beneath them, emerging from the glowing clouds. The creature from the inverted sky. A titanic serpent with translucent scales and glowing blue organs. Surged upward, its body twisting around the cliff like a living hurricane. Its head rose to their level. An enormous eye blinked open. A vertical pupil. A glowing, swirling iris. Elara and Hale froze. The serpent wasn't attacking the drones. It was hunting them. The drones focused on Elara's golden glow. And the serpent focused on the drones. The air tensed. Then, all hell broke loose. The serpent lunged, jaws wide enough to swallow a building. The drones scattered, firing plasma into its scales. The serpent roared, striking at them with its tail, crushing several instantly. Elara grabbed Hale's arm, voice sharp. "Run now." But there's nowhere to. The cliff split beneath their feet. A massive chunk broke away and plummeted upward. Yes, upward. Toward the glowing sky ceiling above them. Elara shouted, "Jump on it!" Hale didn't argue. They leaped onto the rising stone slab as the serpent clashed with the drones. The slab soared upward like an elevator ripped loose, carrying them into the swirling inverted storm. Lightning cracked. Wind howled. The slab rotated wildly. Hale clung to Elara. "This is insane." "It's been insane since Chapter 1, she shouted back. They shot upward through clouds, wind slicing at their faces, spinning, flipping, twisting. Then, a dark silhouette appeared above the clouds. A floating island. Huge. Covered in alien ruins. The slab rocketed straight toward it. Elara tightened her grip on Hale. This is going to hurt. They crashed into the edge of the floating island, tumbling across ancient tiles carved with glowing symbols. Dust flew up. Stones shattered beneath them. Silence followed. Elara groaned, rolling onto her back. Ow! Everything hurts. Hale coughed. We're alive. Somehow. They sat up, staring at the massive ruins stretching before them. Towers, temples, strange monoliths adorned with shimmering script. A wind gusted across the island. Something stirred in the central ruin. A figure. Humanoid. Tall. Made of stone and light, its eyes glowing like molten silver. It stepped forward with heavy, deliberate steps, and spoke in a voice both ancient and mechanical. You have entered the Isle of Ascension. The test begins now. Elara swallowed hard. Great, she whispered. Another test. The figure raised its hand, and the ground beneath them shattered. The ground dissolved beneath their feet. Elara and Hale dropped straight through the stone floor, plunging into a shaft of blinding white light. The air became weightless. Gravity flipped sideways. For a moment, their bodies stretched like reflections on rippling water. Then they slammed onto a smooth metallic surface. Elara groaned. Why is falling becoming a routine? Hale coughed beside her. We should start charging for it. They pushed themselves up. The room around them wasn't a room at all. It was an observatory, carved into the heart of the floating island. The ceiling was a massive dome of transparent crystal, revealing the swirling inverted skies outside. Strange constellations glowed across the dome, shapes that looked almost familiar, but subtly wrong. Elara whispered, These stars aren't from our world. No, said a deep mechanical voice behind them. They are from ours. Elara and Hale spun. The stone-like being, the Guardian, stood at the center of the observatory. But it didn't move like stone. Its joints were too fluid. Its eyes too alive. With a slow, echoing step, it approached them. You seek answers. You shall have them. The Guardian raised its hand. The air rippled, and the entire dome transformed into a living projection. A star map ignited above them, swirling with galaxies. Elara stared, breathless. This is a cosmic navigation system. No, the Guardian replied. It is a warning. The projection zoomed into a cluster of 7 planets orbiting a brilliant blue star. Lines connected them like circuitry. Hale frowned. What is that place? The Guardian's voice deepened. It is the cradle of the Ascendants, our creators, and the birthplace of the power you carry. Elara's heart pounded. Her golden veins glowed involuntarily. I'm connected to whatever this is. You are more than connected, the Guardian said. You are a hybrid of 2 worlds. A carrier of 2 legacies. A bridge between extinction and salvation. Hale blinked. Extinction? Salvation? What do you mean? The star projection shifted. The 7 planets suddenly darkened. Their surfaces cracked, flaring with energy, and then, boom! The star at their center imploded, collapsing into a black, spiraling void. Elara swallowed. Their entire system died. The Guardian nodded. Yes. Their civilization, vast, eternal, advanced beyond comprehension, fell in a single moment. Not by natural collapse. The projection zoomed in on the black void. Inside it, something moved. A shadow. A shape. A creature with too many limbs and no face. A living singularity. Elara felt cold crawl up her spine. What is that? The Devourer, the Guardian said softly. The being that consumes stars. The enemy the Ascendants failed to stop. Hale stepped back. And you're saying, this thing could come to our world? It already has, the Guardian replied. It follows the golden energy wherever it manifests. It hunts the chosen. It hunts you, Elara. Her pulse quickened. So all of this, every test, every danger, every ruin, They're preparing me for that creature? For far more, the Guardian corrected. You were not born by accident. You were engineered, by Ascendant design, across centuries of planning. Your world was seeded. Your lineage shaped. And now, the Guardian extended its hand toward Elara. Its eyes glowed brighter. You are the first successful carrier born on this planet. The first who can awaken the Ascendant Forge. The floor trembled. Stone walls peeled open like petals, revealing a hidden chamber beneath them. Inside lay a massive triangular device made of gold and obsidian, pulsing faintly with light. Elara felt it calling to her. Her veins glowed the same color. Hale whispered, "What is that?" The Guardian bowed slightly. "The Ascendant Forge. The machine that can revive a dead star." Elara froze. Hale stared. The chamber hummed. The Guardian continued. "But be warned, to activate it, a price must be paid." Elara whispered, "What price?" The Guardian's eyes dimmed. "Ascension requires sacrifice. Life exchanged for power. Light exchanged for hope." Elara's stomach twisted. "That can't be the only way." The Guardian shook its head. "It is the law of our fallen creators. The law you inherited. Nothing comes for free, Elara. Not even saving a world." A deep rumble echoed through the observatory. A crack split across the ceiling dome. The massive serpent from the inverted sky slammed against the dome's outer shell, seeking them. Hale grabbed Elara's wrist. "We need to move." The Guardian raised its hand, sealing the crack for the moment. "There is no more time," it said. "The Devourer draws closer, and others seek the forge." Elara stepped back. Her heart raced. Hale whispered, "Elara, what do we do?" Elara stared at the glowing triangle, the forge, and then at the Guardian, and made her choice. She reached forward. Her hand touched the device. Golden light exploded outward. Her body lifted into the air, surrounded by swirling symbols and burning lines of energy. The Guardian's voice boomed. "The ascension begins." Hale shouted her name. The room shattered, and Elara vanished into the light. There was no sound, no floor beneath her, no air in her lungs, no sense of gravity or time. Elara hung suspended inside a vast void, a space that didn't feel like a room but a dimension, folded within the Ascendant Forge. Golden tendrils of light wrapped around her, spiraling in slow, mesmerizing arcs. Her heart wasn't beating. It was vibrating, syncing with the machine. "Am I dying?" The thought echoed through her mind. A voice, neither male nor female, answered her from everywhere and nowhere at once. "You are being rewritten." Elara gasped. The golden tendrils tightened. A sudden pulse shot through her chest, throwing images into her mind. Planets in ruins. Cities of crystalline towers rising like forests. Beings of shimmering energy walking without bodies. Infants infused with golden veins. A people preparing for extinction by creating their replacements. And then, a cradle. A child with glowing eyes. A DNA sequence split in half and carried across galaxies. Elara saw it all. Her lineage wasn't human at all. It was engineered, pre-designed. A project that began millions of years before she was born. Her breaths became shallow. "Stop," she whispered. "Stop, I can't." The voice responded gently. "Do not resist. You are remembering who you were meant to become." Her body twisted in the air. Her bones vibrated. Golden cracks ran across her skin like molten rivers. It hurt. More than drowning. More than freezing. It was the pain of rebirth. Outside the forge, Hale slammed his fists against the barrier as the observatory shook violently. "Elara! Elara!" The Guardian held him back with one hand. "You cannot interrupt the transformation," it warned. "To do so would obliterate her." Hale's voice cracked. "She's dying." "No, she is surviving." "Barely." Another crack split across the dome as the Sky-Serpent coiled around the floating island, striking again. The Guardian turned its head sharply. "The Devourer scouts are near. We have little time." Inside the forge, Elara's awakening. The void brightened again. Elara opened her eyes. And the world was different. Not visually, but fundamentally. She saw patterns in the air. Lines of energy connecting atoms. The internal structure of every surface around her. She could feel space bending, like fabric under her fingertips. What is happening to me? The voice answered. Your Ascendant DNA has activated. Your human limitations are dissolving. The golden tendrils unraveled from her body. But instead of falling, she stood on light. Her feet touched nothing, yet held firm. Elara looked at her hands. They glowed faintly. Not burning, but radiant, like embers of a dying star trying to reignite. Memories she never lived flickered before her eyes. Battles across nebulae. Creatures made of antimatter. Suns collapsing. The firstborn of Ascension standing against the Devourer. And now, her. She wasn't replacing them. She was their continuation. Elara. She turned. A figure formed out of golden dust. Tall, graceful, faceless, yet unmistakably alive. Who are you? The being spoke with countless voices in harmony. We are the Ascendants. The ones who came before. And now, you are our last spark. She swallowed hard. What does the Forge want from me? To wake what sleeps within you. To turn your potential into power. To prepare you for the darkness coming for your world. Darkness. The Devourer. Elara inhaled sharply. Then help me finish this transformation. The Ascendant raised a hand. The transformation finishes you. Golden light surged toward her. Outside, the observatory collapses. The serpent shattered the dome. Glass-like crystal rained down. Hale grabbed a fallen staff and pointed it at the creature. It was pointless, but he didn't care. He screamed over the roaring wind. Elara! Come back! The Guardian stepped forward, arms raised, stone plates shifting into a defensive stance. Lightning crackled from the serpent's mouth. A beam of black energy tore through the observatory. Inside, Elara ascends. The final surge struck her. Her eyes flashed gold. Her back arched. Her voice broke into a cry that wasn't fully human. Energy exploded outward. All the visions, all the memories, all the pain fused into a single moment of clarity. She understood the Forge. She understood the Devourer. She understood her purpose. She wasn't chosen. She was built. And now, she was awake. The void shattered. The Forge expelled her like a comet of light. Outside, a new Elara emerges. Hale turned just in time to see the Forge burst open. A column of golden fire shot upward, tearing through the collapsing ceiling. From within the blaze, a silhouette stepped out. Smaller than the serpent, yet somehow more powerful. Elara. Her feet hovered an inch off the ground. Her hair floated weightlessly. Her eyes glowed brighter than the Guardian's core. And the moment she looked at the serpent, the entire island trembled. Hale whispered, stunned. Elara. She turned her head toward him. When she spoke, her voice carried layers. Human, Ascendant, and something newly awakened. Hale, step back. The serpent hissed. Elara raised her hand. And golden energy swirled around her fingertips, gathering like a miniature star. She wasn't human anymore. She wasn't Ascendant either. She was something in between. A weapon born from both worlds. And the Devourer would come for her. But now, she had the power to face it. The Sky-Serpent recoiled as the golden flare around Elara intensified, rippling through the air like a living storm. Its obsidian scales clattered like armor plates shifting under threat, its three eyes narrowing into slits of burning ice. Hale stumbled back, shielding his face from the brightness. Elara! You're glowing like a supernova. Elara didn't hear him, because inside her, something enormous had awakened. She could feel every vibration in the ground, every tremor in the air, every ripple of cosmic energy within the serpent's body. And for the first time in her life, she wasn't afraid. The serpent strikes first. The serpent lashed forward, its body whipping across the shattered observatory with the force of a hurricane. Stone pillars snapped like twigs. Giant chunks of the floating island tumbled into the abyss below. Elara lifted her hand. The serpent's head struck her. And stopped. A golden barrier formed inches from her face, rippling like a heat mirage. The creature snarled, pressing harder, its fangs crackling with black lightning. Elara whispered, "No." A pulse of energy burst from her palm. The serpent was hurled backward, smashing through a crystal arch that exploded into shards. The entire island shook from the impact. Hale gasped. "Elara, what are you?" Elara's eyes glowed brighter. "I'm what they made me to be." The serpent's second form. The creature hissed, but not in pain. In recognition. It had sensed her power. The Devourer had awakened across the stars and was watching through its servant. The serpent's body split down the center, peeling open like a monstrous flower. Two new limbs unfolded, jagged, blade-like appendages shimmering with void energy. Its voice vibrated through the air. "Ascendant. Fragment." Elara froze. It knew exactly what she was. The serpent launched its new limbs at her. But this time, she didn't defend. She moved. Not fast. Instant. One blink, and she was gone. Another blink, and she reappeared above the creature, suspended in midair, golden light trailing behind her like comet dust. She raised both hands and drew the light inward. The air crackled. Reality bent. A concentrated sphere of gold formed between her palms, swirling like a miniature star. "Elara!" Hale shouted. "What are you doing?" Her voice echoed with layered resonance. "Ending this." The clash. The serpent hurled itself upward. Elara dove downward. Starfire met void light. The explosion rippled across the island, sending shockwaves that cracked the floating platform and shattered ancient monuments into dust. Hale was thrown to the ground, sliding toward the cliff's edge. "Hale!" Elara cried. For the briefest moment, her concentration broke. The serpent struck. A jagged limb slashed across her side, sending sparks of golden light spraying into the air. She reeled back, clutching her ribs. Pain. Real pain. She wasn't invincible. The serpent pressed the advantage, wrapping its coils around her body, crushing her with immense force. Elara gasped as her bones creaked, her golden veins flickering. Hale screamed helplessly from the ground. "Elara! Fight back!" Her vision blurred. Her heartbeat slowed. The serpent's voice hissed into her mind. "You are not the first Ascendant, and you will fall, like the rest." Elara's eyes snapped open. Her voice trembled, not with fear, but with fury. "I am not them." Her veins ignited. Her entire body became a burning silhouette. She thrust her hands outward. A supernova erupted. The serpent was blown into the air, its armor cracking under the sheer force of the blast. Pieces of obsidian scale rained down like shattered glass. Elara landed on one knee, panting, her glow flickering. The serpent writhed, screeching in pain. The turning point. "Elara, behind you!" Hale shouted. Another tendril of void energy whipped toward her. She caught it with one hand. Her fingers closed around the beam as if it were physical matter. The serpent thrashed wildly, shocked. Elara stood slowly, golden aura intensifying. "You want me." She yanked the tendril, dragging the colossal creature toward her like it weighed nothing. "Then look at me." The serpent reared its head to strike. Elara placed her glowing hand on its skull. Golden cracks spread across its obsidian shell. The serpent froze, trembling. Elara whispered, "I'm not your prey." With a final surge, she released her power. Light swallowed the creature whole. Silence. When the glow faded, the serpent's body lay motionless. Cracked, hollow, its core extinguished. Elara stood over it, chest rising and falling, energy fading from her skin as she returned slowly to something closer to human. Hale rushed to her, grabbing her shoulders. "Elara! Can you hear me?" She blinked, and finally nodded. "I'm here," she whispered. But her voice trembled, because she sensed something far beyond this battle. A consciousness awakening above the stars. Watching her. Mocking her. The Devourer had felt her power. And now, it was coming. Elara stared at the sky, dread churning in her stomach. "Hale," she whispered. "Yes, what is it?" This was a scout. Hale's face went pale. "You mean?" Elara nodded. "The real Devourer is on the way."